Here's the top 5 biggest mysteries still not answered by Team Fortress's final comic. Who is Olivia's mother? And how did this mystery woman, create Olivia with a 150-year-old grey man? What actually happens to Miss Pauling at the end of comic number 7? Why don't we actually see her dump the Australium at the bottom of the ocean? And why don't we actually see her at the final Smithmas gathering? Could it be possible that she kept the Australium for herself and she's working on a mystery plan of her own? What about all the Australium inside the Australian people that Grey Man's robots were built to suck out? All that Australium is still there, freely available to anyone interested in trying to take it. Why do we see plenty of flashbacks to Charles Darling, but nothing of his whereabouts in the main timeline? The last time we saw him, he too wanted to obtain as much Australium as possible. So what if he finds out about the Australian that Pauling has? Or about the Australium in the Australian population? What actually happened to make the Administrator hate Zephaniah so much? The 3 covers imply that he killed her parents, but they're all different. So which one is the real one? And who were her parents in the first place to end up dead by Zephaniah's hand? And that's of course assuming that that interpretation of the covers is even correct in the first place. What the heck is Grey Man looking for in the census records for 1850 for someone named Helen? For starters, in this Comic 7 flashback to around 1850, we know that Grey knows that her name isn't Helen. So why would he be looking for records under that name? It doesn't make any sense. We also know that Grey knows that her plan was to mess with Zephaniah originally, and he therefore knows that Administrator was a grown woman by 1822 when she took on the governess job. So if he's looking for details on what her plan is now, in 1972, then what does he hope to find out in a census for a year that she definitely wasn't born in, for a name that isn't her real one, and from 120 years ago? And who the f is in this portrait? Originally revealed back in 2009, updated in 2010, and now still obscured 15 years later in the final piece of official story that we'll ever receive. More discussion about that in the full Comic 7 video on my YouTube channel.